Comedian Elon Gold observes, "Do you know that we are the only people on Earth with a new year that is not fun?" Everyone else is out there on New Year's. They're partying, they're drinking. We're in shul repenting and reflecting. Our New Year's is like everyone else's morning after New Year's. Oh my God, what have I done? Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Why do we do all of this? Because how we show up matters. Has the experience of the last few years changed how you show up in the world? Are you showing up differently as a Jew? Different today since before October 7th. In so many of the places where we used to feel secure, feeling insecure. Are you showing up differently as an American, no matter which side of the political divide, bombarded by rancor, exhausted, and running out of steam? Are you showing up differently personally? Has an illness or a physical or emotional setback changed how you feel you're able to show up and engage with those around you? You were active, and now you're a patient, or a loved one is a patient, and you are carrying caregiver weight. Has the loss of a spouse left you uncertain about how to show up in the world again as just yourself? What about as parents or grandparents or teachers? Are you wondering, as I am wondering, how do we guide our kids in this profoundly changing era when AI can not only write a term paper, but make its own business plans too? How can we help the next generation build towards their futures? How do we even know? There is so much that has shifted for so many of us this year. And with each new news article, it seems that we can find ourselves shifting anew. A meme popped up on my screen this summer, which said, "I wish my life had background music, so at least I could know if I'm in a drama or a comedy or a horror show." How do we show up for all of that? Arthur Brooks evocatively shares in his book From Strength to Strength that he was taking a red-eye one night when he heard a woman's voice behind him say, "It's not true that nobody needs you anymore." The man mumbled something in response, and the voice, now identifiable as the man's wife, spoke poignantly, "Stop saying it would be better if you were dead." Suddenly, Brooks was wide awake. "I didn't mean to eavesdrop," he wrote. "I just couldn't help it." He admits that he formed an image of the husband in his head, imagining someone disappointed at his dreams unfulfilled. But when he later got a look at the man, he was shocked to recognize him. The despondent man, then in his late 80s, Brooks said, had been universally beloved as a hero for his courage, his patriotism, and accomplishments of many decades ago. Brooks goes on to share that this man later disembarked, and the pilot recognized him. Standing with reverence, the pilot greeted him, "Sir, I have admired you since I was a little boy." And the man lit up. "I wondered," Brooks wrote, "which more accurately describes the man, The one filled with pride and joy right now, or the one from 20 minutes ago, despondent? Which describes us today? Confident and connected, or wondering how to show up in a world where so much negative attention and energy is directed our way, where so much is at risk? For Arthur Brooks, the man on the plane launches him on a journey for how to better thrive in his own life. He uncovers some challenging and some beautiful truths along the way. Challenging, as we go through life, it is universal that we will have losses. Loss in circumstance and even loss in abilities. He shares his own experience of playing the French horn. At 20, he was a master. By his mid-20s, he already felt his facility for the notes slipping. The good news, though, both for aging and for weathering challenging times, is that there is also what he calls a second curve. How do we get that? Brooks identifies 4 key pillars: work that gives us meaning, faith, family, and friends. Today, on our holiest day, each is worth unpacking. So first, meaningful work. Invest yourself in something that matters. I recently heard a parable about a king who was riding in his carriage through beautiful farmland on a spectacular sunny day when he heard a rhythmic noise. He looked up and he saw a farmer in the tall wheat repeatedly swinging his scythe. The king was so taken with the sound and the poetry of the movement that he stopped his carriage right then and there and offered the farmer a job. I'll pay you twice what you earn here to come and stand on the lawn in front of my window, just swinging your scythe. The farmer agreed, and on day 1 felt pretty good about the deal. Day 2, he wondered and worried about his fields. Day 3, he looked up. The king had gotten bored and left. Nothing the farmer did was seen or heard. By day 4, he was miserable. Why am I here? I used to bring in a harvest. Now I swing at the air. Nothing I am doing here matters. By the end of the week, he begged the king to let him return home. In the face of our world today, we can sometimes feel like that farmer. What can I do here? But let me share with you a sweet reflection I encountered recently about Mr. Rogers. In it, he talks about his famous sweaters. He says, I want to show you a picture of the person who made them, my mother. I just want to show you her picture and ask you to look very carefully at the beautiful work that she does with her knitting. You see, each stitch she makes with her own hands. That is one of the ways she has of saying, I love you. How do you say I love you? What work, paid or unpaid, helps you show up in this world with grace? Do more of that. The next element in shaping our second curve is faith. All this month, my social media has been filled with heart-wrenching posts. But one post kept appearing that was not like the others. It's a clip of actors Mayim Bialik and Max Greenfield. She offhandedly mentions that she's a shofar blower. Max almost leaps from his chair. Oh my God, please do it. Sorry, I didn't bring my shofar, she says. But we could have done the thing, he shouts, Tekiah! And without missing a beat, she goes, bah! The excited exchange continues with Shavarim and Trua. You've got to do the last one, he pleads, bouncing at the edge of his seat. Tekiah Gedola! To which she starts, bah! And as she's holding the note, he interjects, as long as you can go, as long as you can go. He turns to the audience to describe what happens in shul. And everyone is turning to each other, he says, going, how long is it gonna go? And you never know. You never know. It's the most exciting part of Jewish culture. Can we summon that much enthusiasm for our own observances? Invest them with that much passion. Do you have a memory of sitting with a parent or a grandparent on some long ago high holidays as the cantor's voice soared? Or opening the door for Eliyahu, watching and wondering how the wine in the cup disappeared? Does the sweatshirt I got for my son on Pesach describe you? I have more than 4 questions. Or maybe you're thinking right about now how delicious that fresh bagel is gonna taste at breakfast tonight. In the face of an anxious world, where Tevye's old kvetch, it's hard to be a Jew, is embodied daily, there are 2 major responses. 1, check our Judaism at the door of our lives. Or the one that each and every one of you have opted for by showing up here today, double down on Jewish joy, on Jewish learning, and on Jewish purpose, which leads to family and friendship. How do we show up in this trying time? Brooks points to the majesty and mystery of the redwood tree. Standing as much as 275 feet tall, he says their remarkably shallow roots go only 5 or 6 feet deep. It seems to violate the laws of physics. But the secret of their strength is that they are intertwined. That's our secret, too. We are, each of us, one family. This is our moment to lean on each other, to find strength in one another, in our families of origin and in the family that we choose by the friendships that we make. We are different from one another. That is a feature, not a bug. Brooks writes about how critical it is to exercise your friendship muscles and how hard that is to do. Recognizing that he himself has let his atrophy, he asks us to think back to our preschool days when a play date would mean parallel play. He suggests grown-up parallel play, a mahjong group, a class, the Temple Emmanuel Softball League. Not that he suggests that one specifically, but I do. The key is to start. Cultivate in this new year the courage to make a new friend. Finally, perhaps most importantly, you need not just be changed, you can also change how you show up in the world. If I asked you this morning, would you change your entire life based on one conversation? Not even a conversation you had, but a conversation you simply overheard. Would you jump to sign up for that deal? Brooks did. He reflected on the man on the plane. That experience rattled me so much that I privately started a research agenda to see if the man's fate was inevitably mine as well, or rather, if there was something I could do to avoid it. He concludes, I wound up making major changes in my life. I moved to work that focused on sharing what I have learned. I developed friendships and family relationships and deepened my spiritual life. In truth, the man on the plane, he concludes, is who I have to thank for allowing me to be happy. It's what we're all doing here right now, too. And we may not all go to those extremes, but luckily, changing how you show up doesn't take that. The smallest of deeds can turn the tide. A while back, a video went viral of a youth soccer league matched with a professional team. They're standing out on the field and it is pouring, absolutely pouring. The boys are shivering in their t-shirts and their shorts. At the end of the line, one of the adult players looks at the dripping kid before him. He unzips his team jacket, removes it, and drapes it sweetly around the boy in front of him. The teammate next to him notices. He too removes his coat and places it on the shoulder of the boy in front of him. And then the next guy looks, and he looks left and he looks right. He looks pretty cold himself and he hesitates, but seeing the other two, he does the same. And so on down the line until every kid is wearing a jacket. One kid looks particularly pleased. He jumps with joy, not believing the kindness bestowed upon him. Forget the downpour, he's wearing a professional team jacket. The short video ends with a pan across the entire line. And there is a palpable change. Every adult is beaming. And it all started with one guy. If this year has changed how you show up in the world, today is your invitation to reroot yourself, to meet this world head held high, with courage, with kindness, and with conviction that showing up as our best selves can make all the difference. Shana Tova, Umetuka, Gamar Chatima Tova. We rise.